Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and today I'm giving you a tour of my kitchen. I had somebody in the comments request it and I thought, what a fun idea. I have an incredibly small kitchen. It's not going to be a very long video, but I thought it was a good idea to shoot this because I am absolutely dreaming and anticipating a larger kitchen in my future. And I'll tell you what, I've accomplished a whole heck of a lot in this tiny kitchen. So I thought it would be really fun to record this kitchen so that I can look back on it in the future and remind myself to be grateful for what I have now and in the future. So I want to give you a really good idea of what it feels like to walk into and through my kitchen. So I'm starting at the entrance. This door is to what we call our breezeway. It's like a little entry before you actually enter the house. You've seen it in some videos. So you walk into the breezeway from the outside and then in this door. And then once you are inside, in this little nook here, this is my basement. So when you enter the house, you walk in and immediately face the basement. It does not have a door, just stairs. You walk right down it. And then to the right is the kitchen. There's a little step here, so you just step up and you're in my kitchen. So now all we've done is switch spots. The camera was here and I was facing this way. Now you're right in front of the breezeway door facing this way. So when you walk into the breezeway door and you are standing in this little square where you're between the breezeway, the kitchen, and the basement, this is what you see. This is the view into my kitchen. So on this wall here, the same wall as the breezeway door, I have my kitchen TV, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then you're facing these cabinets. In this cabinet here, this is my baking shelf. It's got my flour, sugars, vanilla, all that good stuff, and then just some other miscellaneous pantry items. I do not have a lot of kitchen counter space, and I do not like to have any small kitchen appliances on my counter. So up here, which I don't think you can really see it, but up here there is my toaster and my electric tea kettle, and then in this one right here we have plates and bowls, my pots and things like that. Right here is my dishwasher, and then this is one of two pieces of countertop real estate. This is the smaller of the two pieces. So I don't usually do a lot of work here because I really like to have elbow room. I really like to get in there, and this is just too small. So very often I keep my eggs over here, which I'm running really low. I always have produce here. I've got half a zucchini sitting here. Bananas, peppers, ripening tomatoes. I always just use, this is my overflow spot. This is where I put my toaster when I'm using it, etc., etc. On the other side of this piece of counter space, we have my sink. Now I have a double sink, ceramic I think, and it's got reverse osmosis water here, and then just my regular faucet here, and it looks out, it has a window looking out into the backyard. Below the sink I have one of two garbage cans and then normal under the sink stuff. But I do want to very quickly show you the view through the kitchen window because I spend an awful lot of time looking out this window. So it looks out over the patio. You can see the shed. This window is so dirty, oh my gosh. And it's hard to see it, but I've got the chickens out free ranging. Yeah, sorry, I know that that's really hard to see. But I just absolutely love standing at the sink, doing dishes, rinsing off produce, whatever the case may be, looking out over the yard. So now moving on, the sink right here behind me, and this is my other piece of countertop real estate, the only two. I think altogether I might have 5 feet of counter space. 4 or 5. Now I am a creature of habit when it comes to my kitchen, and I always have the same stuff out. I've got my hand soap, this little crock full of my like spoons and spatulas and whatnot, my knife block, a cutting board, and on that cutting board a butter knife and a sharp knife. That is what's always out on my counter. Now sometimes there are more things, but there's rarely ever less than that. Those are the basic things. My husband did 2 very nice things for me because I'm in the kitchen a lot. If I'm not asleep, I'm likely in the kitchen. I spend most of my time in here and I cook all of our food from scratch. So Tom and I have lived in this house for 4, going on 5 years. And that first year that we lived in this house and he started to really see that I'm in the kitchen a lot, he did 2 nice things for me. The first being he installed my kitchen TV. And he did that because on the window right here. I used to take my phone and I'd perch it right here and I would watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever, and it was so frustrating because if I needed a recipe, I had to take my phone down, turn off what I was watching, go to the recipe, put what I was watching back up here, and I was constantly going back and forth, and I expressed to him a couple of times how frustrating, just in passing, that was. And I came home from work one day and he had mounted a TV on the wall for me, and I was just tickled pink. The other nice thing that he did for me was install this electrical outlet over here, and it's got 2 USB ports and 2 regular plugs, so I'm able to really charge a lot of stuff over here, and I really appreciated that. So it was just very thoughtful that he was thinking of me. But I say all of that because in that corner I always have 4 things. I have the remote control for the TV, my chapstick, my phone, and my water. I am a creature of habit. So those things are always hanging out right here in this corner. And I also have an extra camera battery charging right now. Now this drawer is the drawer that you see me open most often on camera. It is my silverware drawer. The drawer below that has my measuring cups and other miscellaneous things that I use somewhat often. Like I've got a big whisk, I've got my husband's grilling tongs, and I use these to get stuff down off of shelves that I can't reach. I've got my can opener, stuff that I use somewhat often. And then from there, I have another drawer like that, where it has random things that I would use, but things that I use less often. And then the very bottom drawer that you can't even see is the junk drawer. We have these drawers in order of how often we use them, and that actually works out really well. And then these 2 cabinets here both have Tupperware, strainers, pitchers, baking sheets, pot lids, things like that. Now we're going to pivot slightly. So just to orient you, the sink is right across from me. The door to come in from the breezeway is right there. This is the wall backing the basement stairs going down to the basement. And on this wall there are 2 things, my range and my fridge. It's all that there's room for. It completely fills this space. Again, creature of habit. On my stove I always have both of my cast iron skillets and my enameled cast iron Dutch oven. Those are always here, and then a spatula, usually. I did 2 things to prepare for this video because I wanted to keep it pretty real. I didn't go through and really like clean or organize or do anything special because I really wanted you to get the full effect. But there were 2 things that I did. I did the dishes so that the sink would be empty, and I organized my spice cabinet because it needed it really bad. So I was like, you know what? I like being authentic with you, but it needs to be cleaned, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. So up here, this is my spice cabinet. So I'm short, so I'm a big fan of putting things in order of importance. So this shelf is the stuff that I use the most frequently, this stuff less frequently, and then up there I have all of my oils and vinegars and cooking wines and things like that because I use those the least amount. And then in this one I've got my pot holders, muffin liners, toothpicks, and then this is my baking cabinet. So it's got, well, it's also got my tea, but then it has like my cinnamon and spices, baking soda, baking powder, cornstarch, yeast, all of that good stuff. And then up there I've just got some small appliances that I very rarely ever use. So I do have something really fun to share with you. When I was cleaning out my spice cabinet, I took everything out of there, and I don't think everything's been taken out of there in a very long time because we purchased this house from my grandmother. My grandparents lived here. My mom grew up here. My grandfather has since passed away. My husband and I bought it from my grandmother. She lives very close, just a few streets over. And she was very lucky in that she did not have to completely pack house. She pretty much just left whatever she didn't want to take with her, and we kind of inherited it. And that was the case with the kitchen. There was a lot left in the kitchen. So I don't know the last time that these cabinets were completely emptied. I'm assuming a while, because when I was in there cleaning, I found the most special thing. I found these matches, and they say Karen and Ron, October 21st, 1972. And then on the other side, they've got that little husband and wife picture. And I think that these were the wedding favors for my grandparents' wedding when they got married in 1972. And I know that my grandma watches all of my videos, so Grandma, how cool is this? Is this bringing back memories for you? How special. I was telling Mom, I showed it to Mom, and she thought it was just the coolest thing. And I told Mom, I said, you know what we should do? We should start a family scrapbook where we put fun little things like this, as well as baby shower invitations, wedding invitations, things like that, for the whole family, so that we have kind of a record, like a running record of these things, and we can all look back on them over the years. Our future generations can look back on them, and things like this will be in there, and that would just be so cool. So I think we're going to do that. My mom really liked the idea. So I just wanted to show you, because how special is that? Back over where the counter is, I forgot to show you these two. This one has the smoothie maker stuff, honey, my assorted nuts and things like that. And then this one over here has my glasses, miscellaneous ones that I don't use as often, pet medicine and flea and tick stuff, all that good stuff right there. This view gives you a better look at the TV that's on the wall there. It takes up that whole wall. But I wanted to give you this view because here is fridge. Here is the cabinet that I was just showing you with the cups and whatnot. Counter space, fridge, sink, stove. And so this is the perfect way to demonstrate to you how small my kitchen is. It's called a galley kitchen. That's the type of kitchen. I can put my hand on the sink and my hand on the stove, and my arms are not outstretched. My elbows are bent. I can very easily reach both. And so sometimes it's helpful because I'll be standing here and I'm filling a pot with water or what have you, and without even really needing to move my feet, I can just pivot and set it on the stove. Very, very small kitchen, very little counter space. The angle that you normally see me when I am shooting videos is like this. I have it, if I turned it the slightest bit, you'd see the TV. And so I think it's ugly, so I never have it in view of the camera. I purposely put it so that you don't see it. And then I have it at this angle because, A, there's room, because when you exit the kitchen, it opens up into an open space in between numerous rooms, and I'll show you in a second. So my camera stand is kicked out that way. If I were to do it the opposite way and have the camera on that side, it would hit the wall that the TV's on, and I wouldn't be able to open my tripod all the way. So it just works better having it facing this way. And then again, because I can put my hand on the cabinet and my hand on the fridge and hardly be outstretched, it's very difficult to bring my camera setup into the kitchen to start messing around and getting different views. So I've had people say to me, and not even just recently, but over the life of this channel, I've had people say, why don't you move the camera around? Why don't you get more views? I had somebody recently say, standing in front of the windows like that isn't great lighting. And I know, I get that. I totally understand that. But for the sake of me being able to fully demonstrate everything for you, this is the best I can get. Normally I have this tilted down so that it's just over the top of my head. And you can see. So if I was doing something right here, you'd be able to see what I was doing. And this works. This camera angle is the best I can get in this kitchen. And have it be in any way aesthetically pleasing, as well as you can actually see what I'm doing. So that's why I do the camera angle that I do. And someday I'm going to have a big kitchen with an island, and I can move the camera all around. I can have an overhead setup. Oh, the filming is going to be so great, and I'm going to be able to get you such great footage of what I'm doing in the kitchen, and it's going to be wonderful. But that day is not today. And so for now, this is the camera angle that you get. And you know what? I'm not ashamed of that. And I've had people ask me for like advice becoming a YouTuber, and it's always just do the best you can with what you've got. I happen to have a really nice camera, a vlogging camera. I bought it up with a credit card from Best Buy, paid on it for a year, over a year. I have a really nice camera. If all you have is an iPhone, use an iPhone. If all you have is a tiny kitchen, use your tiny kitchen. Don't let that be a reason not to start. And so I'm proud of the fact that we've come as far as we have with my one camera angle and my tiny kitchen. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I wanted to film this because I think it's fun, you know, to see other people's kitchens, but also to remind myself in the future when I do have my big kitchen where I came from. And to say that even if you are limited on space, because there are people with smaller kitchens than this, there are apartment kitchens, RV kitchens, smaller kitchens than my house kitchen, and you can do it. You can still accomplish so much. Guys, the nutrition I have provided my family out of this humble little kitchen here is outstanding. I've been able to do some really great work in this tiny kitchen. Just imagine the work and the joy when I'll have my big kitchen, and I'll be able to appreciate it and enjoy it that much more because I've had the more humble version of that. And I'm proud of that. I'm really happy with that. And I'm constantly saying on this channel, I've said it numerous times and I'll continue saying it, I don't find it appropriate to ask for more until you have learned how to steward what you have well. So instead of dreaming for the land and dreaming for the bigger house and dreaming of the bigger kitchen, make sure that you're doing everything you can to take full advantage and fully appreciate what you've been blessed with in the moment. So the last thing I'm going to show you, and then we're going to call it a day, I'm just going to turn the camera around so you can see the view that I see when I'm talking to you from this position in the kitchen. So this is it, folks. This is the fridge right here. And that's the dining room. That's the hallway to get to the bedroom. We've got this big hutch here. And then this is the entry into the living room. I just think it's so nice that you wanted to see my kitchen, and I was happy to show it to you. And it'll be so fun to look back on this in the future when my videos are way more aesthetically pleasing and have way more fun angles and are way more entertaining to the average YouTube viewer. But for now, we're doing the best we can. We are nourishing our families and expanding our homesteading skills, our kitchen skills. We're learning together, and we are doing it right here in this humble kitchen. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith and keep moving forward. Bye, friends.